Welcome back to San Diego, people. We're talking about our special election and our new mayor-elect, Kevin Faulconer. Now, to win this election, it took people willing to cross party lines to support whatever candidate they wanted to support. In this case, it was Kevin Faulconer. Joining us now is Kristen Victor. She is a self-described liberal Democrat sitting with me here today. And you supported Kevin Faulconer. And also Tony Manolatos, a political consultant and spokesperson for the Faulconer campaign. That was during the primary part of this special election cycle. Kristen, it is always interesting when someone looks at a candidate and says, I have been a lifelong Democrat, I'm a liberal Democrat, but my heart is telling me something else. Is that what was speaking to you when you heard and saw Kevin Faulconer? Was your heart was telling you something else?
Well, I have been working with Kevin Faulconer within our community and neighborhood in the implementation of an eco-district. And so for the past years, I've had the pleasure to work with him and his staff directly, not only in the design and the specification, but the implementation. And he was just very much supportive and aware of the environmental needs and issues, not only from an environmental perspective, but a social and a economic perspective as well.
Well, on the campaign trail, we heard Kevin say over and over again, this is not about politics, this is about people, it's about neighborhoods. There were some people who didn't believe him when he was on the campaign trail, and that's why they stuck with David Alvarez. But you believed him because why? You saw that in action?
Well, we worked together. We worked together for the results within the beach community. And the beach communities is not only community for the people that live there, but also for all San Diegans. It's one of our natural resources and natural treasures. And Kevin, he advocated for the protection and the needs within the community. So it was based on my firsthand experience with him, and I advocated for him and educated my friends and my colleagues about him very loud and clear.
Tony, you've worked with a lot of candidates, and sometimes it does get very partisan. It must be good to hear that you're working for a candidate that somehow can make that line go away.
Absolutely. Partisan politics is a tough business. Mm-hmm. But when you're working with somebody like Kevin, who is genuine, and it was easy for him to run down the middle because that's who he is. Kevin's greatest strength is he gets along with people. He's a collaborator. So there was no reinventing Kevin during the primary, absolutely during the general. What was satisfying for me was to see that narrative that we started with. That this is a guy who is a collaborator, who has experience working with people on both sides of the aisle. Because back then, not a lot of people knew him outside of his city council district. So we had a lot of work to do in letting people know who Kevin was. So it was very satisfying to me now to see the New York Times and the Washington Post and Politico and on. I see Kevin as, hey, this guy, he's got it together. He might change the whole dynamic of the GOP.
Do you think it is a model for that? I mean, Washington is so broken right now. It is so partisan right now. Do you think the Kevin Faulconer model, or let's call it the San Diego model, I think that may be a better way of putting it, is a better way for the GOP to go?
Oh, absolutely. Folks have been saying for years that they need to act more like Kevin in the city council. Kevin, he's socially liberal. He supports the DREAM Act. He's supports gay marriage. He is pro-choice. On and on and on. But he's a fiscal hawk. Mm-hmm. And that's what folks have been saying they need to do at the national level.
Do you think that would resonate with Democrats as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of Democrats are fiscally conservative. It's on the social and the environmental side of things. And I started describing Kevin as environmentally aware. I think he's become more aware as he's been hanging out with me. I think he's socially moderate, which I love. His mom's a Democrat. I mean, she's just lovely. And he's fiscally conservative, and he's a collaborator. And that's what we need. That's what we need to really move forward, not only in my community, in my neighborhood, but also on our city, and our state level, and our federal level.
So you would tell your Democratic friends to certainly give him a chance?
Oh, I invited them all to my house
figured you would,
and introduced them to Kevin.
You sound like a matchmaker, a political matchmaker already. So, and as far as our city is concerned, the Faulconer thing is behind us now, Tony, do you think?
I do. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
And Kevin's just the right guy to steady that ship. He's a steady hand. He's got great leadership experience. So I don't think we're going to be having to worry about Bob Faulconer any longer. I'm really happy for San Diego. I think we're going to see brighter days ahead with Kevin at the helm.
He can create his own legacy now. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's it for this morning's edition of San Diego People. Join us tonight for the KUSI News at 6, 10, and 11 o'clock.